Hello, everyone. We are here again, as we are every Tuesday at 1:30 Pacific Standard Time. My name is Mark Stark. I'm the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. We operate in Arizona, Nevada, and California. And I have a very special guest here with me today. I have Ken Elmer, who is the creator of our VAC 2.0 system. It is my pleasure. Ken, welcome.
Man, I'm so glad to be here. Mark, thank you so much for inviting me. Love you guys. Love the VAC. Thank you.
No, well, truly, I mean this from my heart. It is my pleasure. And I know we're going to have a lot of great information to share with you, to share with everyone today. Hey, I want to start off with this, and I don't want to start off with a negative. It's a true fact. And I think everyone will find this interesting, and I guarantee they've probably heard it. But the National Association of Realtors says about 70% of past clients don't use their same realtor again a second time, not because they didn't enjoy the experience, but they don't remember who their past realtor was. That is just a very frustrating point. And so I'd like to start off in basically two. Certainly, we're going to talk about generating overall business, but I want to focus on our sphere and our past clients, because if they're forgetting about us, there's got to be things that we can do a little bit differently. So I want to start off and ask you this question. How, using the VAC 2.0, all right, what you created, how do we better stay top of mind, effectively communicate, okay, with these people? In many cases, they already know and love us. They may not want to hear from us at that moment in time. So we want to communicate effectively, but not be invasive. So how do we do all that, Ken?
There's like 18 talking points in that, right? There's a ton. It does blow my mind, though, because in most professions, right, repeat business is everything. Repeat business is your gold mine. And I think that if most of us, we look at our contacts within a platform, we look at our CRM, we look at all the people that we could be affecting, right? And a very small percentage are active buyers and sellers, and yet that's where 97% of your time goes. So how do you take, right, 95% of your contacts, stay in front of them, and you said several different pieces there, right? The first is these are the people that need to hear from you to stay top of mind, but they probably don't want to hear from you right now, right? Because they don't have a real estate need, right? They don't have a real estate transaction that's top of mind, but you don't know when that's going to pop up. Built a system, Mark, and you know this, that is really focused on non-invasive, right? Items of value. And items of value is a really key term. It's one thing for a CRM to tell you every day, call these 50 people. The next day it calls, call these 50 people. By day 4 or 5, you've given up, right? You just can't maintain that. What you can do, though, is you can take automated things like our drip campaigns, the holiday campaigns, or the market reports. Those awesome market reports, right, that give a nice item of value. In literally 10, 15 minutes, you can set up 2,000, 3,000 automated touch points to hit all of these people and to stay top of mind. Because at the end of the day, they like their transaction with you. But at the end of the day, 2, 3 years goes by, they haven't heard from you. They meet somebody, their brother-in-law, right, gets a real estate license. They're like, oh, we should give him some business, right? They forgot that you are a trusted partner to them. And we really need to focus on that. We really need to focus on that sphere of influence and how we stay in front of those people, even when maybe they don't want to hear from us. I mean, that's really a key to good CRM marketing.
Well, and to tie into the idea of a true item of value, one of the things that excited me so much is, when something's relevant to me and it's so hyper local, dealing with my world. I don't mean this as a negative statement, but if the values of properties are going down around me, but not in my neighborhood, they're going up, I probably can live with that, okay? Because my neighborhood's doing okay. So just sending the point home is I want to know about what affects me. And that's the one aspect of how powerful your reports are, because not only do they give you great information, but what I also found very interesting, they're all clickable. So I can be a nosy neighbor and look at everything that I want to in the neighborhood that affects me. That's
Yeah.
powerful.
It is powerful, and it's hyper local, right? I mean, hyper local is everything. It's one thing to say this is what's happening in Henderson, but this is what's happening in Phoenix. This is what's happening in the desert. But what does that really mean for my pocket neighborhood, which I think is more special than all the neighborhoods around me, right? And I
Exactly.
want to see things like, did that house pop off the market? Oh, it wasn't really sold. It was withdrawn. Oh, my neighbor's house, their sign went down. It's expired. I thought they sold. I just figured they'd be moving soon. Those kinds of things are really integral to know. Let me give you one stat too. These stay in touch tools we're talking about, these replace things like the 20 years ago farmers market postcards, right? And there's nothing wrong with those. These items of value are 4 times more opened than the average real estate email, right? Average on real estate emails are about 6% open rate. Ours are sitting at about 26, maybe 25% open rate. People are clicking. They might delete it because they don't need it, but your name pops up, your brand pops up. There's a nice item of value, and next month they do the same thing. It keeps you top of mind. And the system's full of that stuff because we all market a little bit differently, but it's full of that stuff because agents need that stuff. They really do, and it needs to be super easy. It needs to be simple.
Yeah. Well, it certainly is simple. Let me ask you this, and I know this comes up from a lot of sales executives, and we need help with this. To truly market a neighborhood effectively, I think a lot of agents end up not doing it effectively. And one of the challenges are we don't have the email addresses.
Mm,
Okay.
yeah,
And I'm not a proponent of buying email addresses. They're, one, it's too expensive. Two, it's so
yeah,
inaccurate.
yeah.
Three, you're imposing on somebody who said,
You're spamming. You're
yeah, you're
spamming right
spamming.
away. Yeah.
Yeah, you're spamming. So to me, that's a lose 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 situation. So what ideas do you have that we can effectively utilize the VAC 2.0 to gather those very important email addresses and ultimately with the sellers, the owners of those properties, blessing along the way?
Yeah. Let me answer that and give you 2 ideas,
Okay.
right? Two ideas straight out of the gate. The first is a lot of your neighborhoods have nice little neighborhood associations on Facebook. You never want to jump into a Facebook conversation and say, "Hey, I'm a realtor that specializes in rolling hills," and so and jumping into there, and that's invasive, right? However, if you share something like the neighborhood report, that's not saying come hire me, right? In big neon lights, that's saying, hey, here's a nice item of value that you guys might enjoy. And then just adding, if you'd like to receive this by email, certainly let me know. We see tons of email generation just from very non-invasive. Again, we're going to use that term a million times today, probably, but just from this kind of nice social sharing. The other thing is, and little trip down memory lane here, but 20 years ago, I owned a print company. Guess what we did a ton of? We did door hangers. Remember door hangers, Mark?
Yep.
Little door hangers you'd hang. That's when agents used to walk neighborhoods, right? Every single report that we do is printable. And so you've got this idea that I could print out the first couple of pages of a report. And even in the COVID area, I could slip it in someone's door. I can handwrite a message on the front that says, hey, if you'd like to receive this over email, shoot me an email and let me know, right? And they look at that. It's great amount of data. At that point, they don't want you printing a bunch of pages every month. They'll probably give you their email out of a little bit of guilt. And it works again. If you're creative, put a little bit of effort into it. There are lots of ways that you can generate email addresses. And not just does that give you more accurate than buying a list, it gives you a relationship starter,
Yeah.
right? It gives you a relationship starter versus just a blanket email. The whole concept is, how'd that person get my email, right? That's not a good relationship starter. Good relationship starter is, man, I've never seen a report like this. This is pretty cool. Yeah, I could use this once a month, right? Non-invasive, easy touch point. Everything's printable. It just takes a little bit of effort.
Yeah, no, I love that. Hey, listen, I built my business. One of the main, it was for sale by owners expireds, and one of the main was door knocking. And so even if you knock the door or, like you said, you just hang it on there and they look at it
Yeah.
and see the value of the report and want that free report again, I love that idea.
And it comes down to the item of value, right? It's what is that item of value? A door knocker flyer, something like that. It's not really a ton of value there. This, you're giving the item of value first, and all you're asking in return is the email. That's the whole idea about the squeeze. the squeeze and any kind of lead generation, I'm putting that out there first, and then I'm think it's so good that you're going to automatically follow up.
Yeah, talk a little bit more about, give us a really understanding of a squeeze page.
Ah,
And so go for
sure.
it.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're moving here from reports that I can send proactively to a little bit of marketing that's a little proactive and a little bit passive. So this term has become really popular in the past 3 or 4 years, called a squeeze page. But really, what it comes from is the idea of squeezing somebody into a funnel, right? And then they need to kind of get out of that funnel to get to the other side. And a lot of you will remember this with hard and soft registration. Remember 20 years ago, early advent of IDX, you'd go to any website and it would make you register before it'd show you listings. That was squeeze. That was squeeze registration. None of us do that now because IDX is so prevalent, right? We don't want to close ourselves off. However, a squeeze page is something that you can develop. It takes a good 45 seconds. It's really a low effort thing. In the webinars we've done for the VAC, we actually show very quickly how to do a squeeze page. The whole idea is I take something of value, let's just say a neighborhood report. I share it onto Facebook. I say, hey, would you like one of these around your house? Would you like one of these around your neighborhood? Click here. And that click then goes to a page on your website that's got a built-in form. And that form basically says, hey, I'd love to share a neighborhood report with you. Leave me your name, your phone number, your address, and just click submit. That is squeezing kind of that email out in order for them to get that item of value. Incredibly beneficial. Think about this. If you just share things on Facebook all the time, you could be leaving some leads on the table. Unless you give them a way to respond that's clear, a lot of people won't respond, even though they probably would if there was some sort of a call to action, a CTA. And so squeeze pages are really, they're very easy to build. You can have them in your agent websites in the VAC as ghost pages where they don't even show up in your menu for public use. You can have them as private pages. There's just a myriad of things that you can do. But if you're taking these items of value, you're pushing them out there to the world, and you're not asking for a little bit in return, which is that email address, that CTA, that call to action, you might be leaving some leads on the table.
Yeah. No, and I think that is, I know you would. And that kind of takes us to that next step of generating outside leads above and beyond your sphere. So this is new opportunities to people you've never met, but they're interested in the data. I found that, and this will take you back to, is, the best floor agents, the people who worked floor time and got the call, what I found, the best people were always the people who previewed property so they could speak about real estate. Anyone who went down the path of, let me check the computer, let me see what I can find, never really had the great results. The people who had the results were the ones that had the information, and the client was attracted to them because they wanted the information. And your reports do that same thing. It's like, look, I don't know you yet, but I do want that hyper local information that affects me. And this is, as you said, a starter to build that relationship. And I think that's so powerful because people want the intel.
That's super powerful in a day and age where nobody trusts anybody, right? And it's very tentative how people want to start that relationship. By you taking the first step and offering that item of value is saying, I am not desperate to be your realtor today. What I do know is I really know Summerlin, or what I do know is I really know Anthem. And and then I'm going to prove that to you by giving you this information, by helping you in these different ways, by sending you these updates, doing a neighborhood report for you, putting you up on a market report, right? Answering your questions. I'm going to prove my worth to you. That's how we will develop relationship, and that's just how it goes these days. You just can't go meet somebody in Starbucks and you're all of a sudden their agent. It just doesn't work like that.
Yeah, let me ask you this. Let's go deeper in this. So let's
Sure.
take that to overall web marketing. What are some other ideas that we can, utilize the web to market and to meet these new opportunities, again, along these same lines?
Well, expertise is everything, right? We've pre-built the VAC 2.0. That's a mouthful. We've pre-built the VAC 2 to have a whole bunch of hyperlocal information built in. There should never be a day where anyone who has access to the system wakes up and says, I'd really like to share something on social media today or send something to my demographic but I just don't know what to do, right? You can take any combination of any search, grab the link, share it to your clients. It redraws everything right on their page, right? You can take any one of about 7,000 different market areas, neighborhoods, communities, zip codes, and in 2 clicks, build out dedicated pages on your website to show all the market stats on a monthly basis for all of these different locations. You could even take, right? You could even take specific URLs. Right, I could take rollinghillsmarketstats.com if I own that. Someone should check if that's open. rollinghillsmarketstats.com, and I could just forward it to one of these pages on my site that talked all about Rolling Hills and then had a form at the end for somebody to sign up. I mean, I could go on and on forever. We've pre-built the communities and neighborhoods of, I think, probably 700 different neighborhoods. And by the way, more are coming. So we've got a whole nother release to come out at the end of August for more neighborhoods, more communities, and all this is there. And all you've got to do is kind of push it out either through your sphere or through different marketing channels or through your social network or through email. I mean, whatever you think that best channel, and that's really up to you. You've got the way of marketing. I'm just going to give you the data, and we've got all that data there. And then we're going to show you in the VAC, is your traffic growing? We've got charts and graphs that'll show you, am I getting more people on my website than last month? Am I getting more leads on my website than the last 3 months, right? How can I gauge that effort so I can gauge ROI? All of that stuff is there, easy at a glance.
Yeah. It's exciting. Based on the core neighborhoods, I don't even have to wait for that. I can create really my own sub neighborhood, whatever that means to me. Maybe it's a different price range in a specific neighborhood because I want to work those 300 homes, whatever the case may be. Is I love that, and it even takes it more hyper local in that. You
can get as specific as you want. Drawing polygons, getting really hyper local, right? Dropping those things into link navigations, creating your own pages. Don't just look at the pre-built content and say that's all that's out there. What's out there is only limited by an agent's imagination. Right? Yeah. If I want to show what's affordable on the Strip, or what's affordable in downtown Phoenix, or what's affordable in Surprise, right? Whatever price segmentation, property type segmentation, area segmentation I want to do, it's as easy as just drawing it on the map, saving the link, generating it, and then watching people interact. I mean, it's really what it is. Only limited by your imagination, really is.
Yeah. No, that's and I love the idea of like a domain name. You could come up with so many different domain names, lock those down, and now anyone interested, I'm sending that out to the universe, and the people who are interested in that, I know they want to know about that area or that topic, whatever I send out. So I love that.
And sometimes marketing that, right? I mean, if I market kenelmer.com, there's a perception with that. The perception is that, oh, I'm a real estate agent, I don't need to go there. If I market rollinghillsmarketstats.com, the perception is that I'm giving away neutral, nice information on an area that I want to be, right? So it takes you one step back from the perception and makes it a little bit more neutral. And that's kind of how we get people in the door. And think about what you could do to market those names. I mean, there's millions of them available, and they cost $12 a year. GoDaddy.com, $12 a year.
Yeah, what's that? What? Say that again.
Yeah, GoDaddy.com.
GoDaddy
is the world's largest registrar. You just go to GoDaddy.com. We've worked with all the trainers, and they all know how to help you point it to your website and point it to a specific subpage or whatever you want to do. It's a very easy, simple process. But that neutral marketing is a big deal. I'm a big fan of that neutral marketing as well as when they come showing who you are, right? Yeah.
Yeah. One more on this. I mean, just staying with the concept of social sharing, one of the challenges, and I think you mentioned this a little bit ago, is just having something interesting to talk about. Always having a topic of interest. What are some of the recommendations? I mean, like I think about having, the most expensive home in the market and sending that out there because people tend to like to see that, look at this home. It's got 15 bedrooms. I mean, those seem to attract people to connect to.
it kind of goes to maybe how cheeky or not cheeky you want to be, right? I'm going to market to my personality, and for me, I'm a little bit out there in the first place, and so for me, I would go find the house in Las Vegas with the most bathrooms, and I would share that house to social media, and I would title it, "What are you going to do with all these bathrooms?" Or "Do I really need 15 places to go potty?" Right? I mean that's me, and I'm not recommending that your people do that. I'm just saying market to your personality because you're marketing to your social sphere. They already know if you're a little cheeky like that or not, right? They already know kind of who you are. Remember, agents get into this vibe that, oh, I can only share my listings on social media. No, you can share whatever you want on social media, right? So I can go and save a search for everything over 1 million that's within walking distance of my favorite casino in Vegas, right? Or I can go and save a search and say everything under 2 million bargains in Palm Desert, right? I mean, I can come up with any combination. Where it really becomes interesting is the spin that you put on it. And so I don't know how many times I say this in all the sessions that I've done with your wonderful agents, but be interesting. Everyone can just be interesting, right? You guys know the market like nobody else. Just prove that and just be interesting.
Yeah.
And then you can be a little flamboyant if you're like me, right? Talk about bathrooms in a house.
I like that. I like that. All right. One of the other I thought not only is so necessary for us as professional realtors, but
Yeah.
that the system helps you do and it doesn't overwhelm you. Can you talk a little bit about the follow up and the reminders and the difference? Because just in looking at other systems and other things that throws too much at you, that's one of the aspects that was so impressive when we first started to communicate was it was agent centric. It worked the way we actually work, not the way the system is telling us to work. So
Yeah.
go over some of that and how powerful those reminders, because it really touches so much of what you just have already talked about.
Yeah, and it's one of my struggles with a lot of the other like micro CRM systems out there, and I have nothing against those, and learned some great things from those, but they work like they work. What I want to do is I want to give the agents options to work so the system will work best for how they want to work. Now, let me give you two easy examples, right? If you're an agent that's going to be in the system on a regular basis, 5 times a week, 3 times a week, right? You're going to be in there doing some of the marketing creation, right? All your single property websites, your new flyer system, your new e-blasts, right? I'm just teasing, but I mean, all of that stuff's there. It's great. But if you're going to be in there on a regular basis, it might be helpful for you to have pop-up reminders, right, in the system. So instead of the system sending you 15 emails a day to remind you to do stuff, right, which if you use it regularly, you'll get a lot of emails on a regular basis, you can trigger it to just say, just show me my tasks here in one place where I can go and look at all my tasks, right? So for that style of working, works great. Let's say I'm an agent that's on the go all the time. I've got an assistant that does all my marketing. I'm really literally never going to be in the platform except to do just basic, simple things. I'm going to be in and out. I'm not going to live there. That's fine. No judgment from me. You can set up those automated reminders to come through email, right? I just do one click and I say, remind me to follow up with this person every 7 days, next 4 weeks, right? Click and it's done. The system will then email you, hey, this is your weekly reminder to follow up with this contact. You can dial them right from the email. You don't even have to go back into the platform. It's just a good example of, I'm not going to sit here and tell agents how they have to work, whether they're going to sit at their computer and work like some, or they're always be on the go like others. I'm going to give you options that the system can work for you either way. And it's going to be based around reminders that are important to you. I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of platforms out there that take your sphere. Remember, we talked about this at the beginning. Well, we're already 20 minutes in. We talked about it 20 minutes ago. And it was the whole idea. You've got all of these contacts that you haven't contacted in a long time. I'm not going to sit there and tell you to call those people every day because a lot of them don't want to hear from you right now. They don't need to hear from you right now. It's like my doctor calling me when I'm not sick, right? When I need you, I'll reach out. But you do need to stay top of mind to those people. And so that's why we have the reports and the campaigns and the newsletters. You've got a beautiful newsletter system coming out. There's a tease. That's why we've got all of those different pieces So you don't have to sit and do boiler room dialing on a regular basis. You can go work and build relationships and let the system work for you.
And what do you find? I mean, clearly this is set up that I can create different touches throughout
Yeah.
the year. Okay, through all these different avenues, from reporting to holiday cards, whatever I want to send. What is your recommendation of how that would work best? One, the overall, how many touches should I do each year? And is it make sense for me to set myself a goal for each client? How does that? What would you recommend?
No, that's great. And I'm all about goal setting, right? I'm all about goal setting and having targets. So let's think about that for a second. Mark, if you go home tonight and order Pizza Hut, right? If you go home and order Pizza Hut, I guarantee you will get 10 Pizza Hut emails over the next 10 days. It is just common with the systems and structures and the people and the stuff that we use these days that we get a boatload of emails. With that understanding, I don't think it's out of bounds to say, listen, I want to be in front of my clients twice a month, 24 times a year. I don't think that's annoying anybody at all, especially if I'm not bugging them about buying or selling their house, especially if I'm just staying top of mind, active, non-invasive type advertising. So let me give you a suggestion, right? For all those people that you don't know what to send them, drop them on the holiday campaign. That's 2 clicks, right? Select holidays, go, right? They'll get about 12 different nice holiday cards from you over the course of the year digitally in the system. You don't have to do anything. They'll just happen. And put them on a market report for their specific neighborhood that they live in. And that will be a monthly market report. So it'll be 12 times a year. That's 24 touches. You can do that on a Friday afternoon with a cup of Starbucks, right? With maybe an extra shot of espresso in probably 30 to 60 minutes. And that keeps you top of mind. And I get some agents that say, "Ooh, that's a lot." But is it really? Go order Pizza Hut and you'll realize, I have nothing against Pizza Hut, by the way. I love it. But you'll realize what invasive marketing is when you get literally an email from them every other day. Twice a month is not a lot, right? And especially if one of those is a great item of value and the other one is just a nice holiday card. That's at its simplest. That's what I would do bare bones for everybody. The system, you can sort all your clients to show who's not receiving anything. A lot of people don't know that. So you can sort and say, oh my gosh, these 125 people in the top of my list, I can see in this column, they're not getting any automated marketing from me. So it's not hard to figure out who's not getting anything from you. And then very easy from there just to click and go.
Well, to your earlier point, the person may not need you at that moment in time, but I promise you this, if they're seeing you on a consistent basis, when the time comes where it is relevant to their world and their life, I'm going to tell you something, those touches matter. And
you don't know when that is.
Exactly.
That's the struggle.
You don't.
You don't know when that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely true. Single property website. We all get a single property website built within the system. What are some ideas around that you want to share regarding specifically a single property website?
Well, sure. I mean, single property websites were like really in vogue like 10 years ago. I think like a couple title companies bought companies that actually would make single property websites for you. And basically all it is, it's its own URL. It's usually based on an address, and it's for one of your listings. And it shows basically everything about that house. Google Places around the house. It shows all the demographics data, obviously everything from the MLS. It's a nice piece. They went way out of vogue, and now they've really come back in vogue. And so let me tell you a little bit about kind of how I see them and the importance.
Okay.
The number one importance, in my opinion, is for the seller. And so the moment that one of your listings hits the VAC, that single property website is created. So think about this for a second. I'm sitting with my seller, that we signed the contracts. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. I go back to my office. I get everything together. I dump it in the MLS by noon. I know it doesn't happen like this, but in my brain it does, right? And I dump it in the MLS by noon. And then by 2 o'clock, that single property website is done. It's emailed to you. And for those of you that have seen these new VAC, all the marketing is created, that link is actually in the email. You don't even have to go back in the VAC. You grab the link at 2 o'clock, you send it to your seller and say, hey, I wanted to let you know I've got your entire single property website created and we are actively marketing your home. And it's just after lunch, right? I think that is one of the great benefits. And I'm not sure that anyone's doing that, but Lord knows if I was an agent, that first 24 to 48 to 72 hours under contract is crucial, especially in this market, right? Seller expectations are incredibly high. And to be able to immediately say, I'm sharing this on social media. I've got your own website for your house. Why don't you go take a look? I think the photos turned out great. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's a big deal. Second thing is it does give a really nice marketing opportunity. Google looks at it as its own specific web site on a specific address that's address centric. We serve them up in Google Sitemaps and all the places what you would do for search engine optimization for SEO. So the longer they stay on the market, the actually more SEO they'll have, so they'll help you more. There's a lot of nice little advantages. It used to be that you would just market or share the property detail page, and you can still do that. But this is a nice presentation. So how do I, and one of the reasons, and I don't want to assume that everybody knows this, the new agent websites in VAC2, you can actually put video to play directly on the homepage of your website where the big banner image is. You can put combinations. You could show off one of your featured listings, and then you could put a video, and then you could put a nice image of a community that you do a marketing, and it just rotates back to the first image. You can do any of those combinations. So as we've worked with thousands of your agents so far on taking a look at the website, the big question that comes in training is, where do I find these videos, right? Well, for some of you, you can go shoot them on your phone, but that's really what I would not recommend unless you're very good at that kind of stuff. Your phone is great enough quality. It's just that you may not be great enough quality, right? I wouldn't go shoot something on my phone and upload it. But there are tons of websites out there, and I have my favorite. My favorite is istockphoto.com, right? I with an I, stockphoto.com. You go to istockphoto.com, search for video, and just type in happy family moving into house. There's, I think, over 11,000 video tidbits, like little snips, right? That you can grab and download for $30, $50, $60 of these great emotionally invoking families moving into a house or kids playing on a floor or this kind of stuff that just, again, that banner image there, if you're not going to use it for like neighborhood marketing or brand marketing, it needs to evoke some kind of an emotion. And I'm a big believer that video can do, if done right, can really evoke a little bit of a, wow, that's neat, right? I mean, just that little bit of as opposed to, hey, there's another picture of a building. I mean, it just gives you a little bit extra. And I went on there, last week. I was helping someone transfer their site over, and just searched for Phoenix luxury drone footage. And there are tons of like drone footages that you can buy flying over the city of Phoenix and beautiful neighborhoods for like $50. And I'm not saying $50 a month. I'm saying $50, you download it, you own it. You can upload it to the site. It plays right there on the site. We make it super user friendly to do that. But a lot of people go away from video because they're scared. They're like, I don't know how to do good video. That's okay. You're an agent. You should know how to do relationships. We'll help you with the tech. And so go to someone who really knows this, and that is like these stock photography companies. And they have some great, really emotionally provoking type of things. Now that you have the option to do multiple photos, video and photos, just video if you want to, experiment, throw some stuff out there, see what looks good, and then tailor it to you, your style, everything else.
And speaking of that, on the emotional, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services nationally,
yes,
they have 15-second, 30-second commercials that they've professionally made that they really do. Some of them are very emotional,
fabulous. They're just great. Yeah.
Well, one other thing we didn't mention, and then I want to hit you on a topic, but
sure.
I love about your reports is they're always live. And so if someone were to forward them, okay, and someone clicking on them 3 weeks after you sent them, they're always accessing live data. Am I correct there?
Yes. It depends. Like the monthly market report reports are monthly, right? And so they're monthly. If you look at them today versus tomorrow, they're still going to be for last month. But let's take a specific example of you go to your website, you search for a school, right? I mean, again, people haven't really digested how powerful your school search is. It's unbelievable. I start typing in Selma Bartlett Elementary, and I can see the government boundaries for this school. I can see the polls, right? If I take that link and share it to people that are interested in living where their kids can go to that elementary school, they open up my email 3 weeks from now, would run a live search, and it would give them live data. As much as possible, we always try to refresh the data on every click through to make sure that everyone sees everything fresh. And I think that really is crucial, because you have a lot of saved searches that exist out there. This is one thing that your older system, it couldn't do. It wasn't able to take that URL and share it out and have it live all the time with any combination of anything. And I think when agents see how powerful that is, again, the only thing that's stopping you is your imagination, right? Then you can start incorporating these in your e-newsletters, your e-communication. You can send out these things as a precursor to a property alert. And Mark, you're exactly right. Someone doesn't open their email for 2 weeks and then they click it. It's still live. It still shows everything perfectly fresh.
Yeah, that is so powerful, specifically as people set up buyer reports, because you just sent them out, just like you said. And what I love, that it can even overlap with more than one school. You know what? Yeah. And you see the color middle, that covers both kids, whatever the case may be. And that for that to stay live, to me, is such a powerful opportunity, because then, they looked at it, there were 77 homes available 2 weeks ago. Now they look at it and there's 64 homes available, because it's always changing and evolving. So I love that.
Yeah, I think that is so underutilized, and I was so excited when we built that on your system, and I'm so excited that that you and I have worked together to get neighborhood data with overlays, and every single school in Southern California, all of Arizona, all of Nevada is in that platform with a physical boundary that you can see. When people realize how powerful that is, I mean, it's powerful. It's a whole nother level of lifestyle that you can connect with your prospective buyers.
Well, and it shows so much expertise. When I get that, it sends a level of comfort. I mean, me being in the business, it sent me a level of comfort that I could send that and let my client know that information. And so awesome. I love that.
Super good.
One of my big personal visions and catalyst that connected us, and I don't believe in coincidences, so you and I got connected for a reason, and I know you've had relationship with Gordon for years, and you guys have known each other through the business.
Do we get to talk about Gordon on this call?
Yeah, we can, only if we talk nice. Okay.
Okay. Well, then move on.
Okay, then move on. Oh man, you're in trouble. I love it.
I'm in trouble now, aren't I?
Okay.
Yeah. All right, good to know.
So is this concept from innovation versus integration? And I am a big believer in, integration is more important than innovation in this reason. For this reason is, try and stop innovation. Innovation's coming from everywhere all the time. I don't have to worry about innovation, okay? Why I am so excited to work with you and your team is you get the concept of integration, that the system is never ending. It's always growing. It's always evolving. It's always adding. Even some of our other affiliates from AdWorks, and I know we can, from HomeSpotter to BuySide, these are different companies, okay? Some even somewhat competitors or whatever, but it doesn't matter. The reality of it is the platform itself can be this store opportunity, all right, to be able to communicate for our sales executives so they can utilize it to best suit any client. And it just continues to grow and evolve.
Yeah. I mean, that is so well said. If you remember that when we sat down there for the first time and you said, show me what you're thinking of doing for VAC. And the first thing I pulled up on the screen was this is what you need to know about me and about this company is that we play well with everybody. We check our ego at the door. And when it comes to buy side, I'm not going to go out and try and replicate that. They have done a masterful job of doing some really cool stuff with data that I want to integrate all over our system. AdWorks, oh my word, right? HomeSpotter and now boosting directly from the platform. I mean, we can go on and on and on. As those things come to market, we've built your system in a way that it's infinitely almost plug and play, right? There's always some setup to do. My account managers are going to kill me because I said plug and play, because there's always a little bit of setup to do. Well, they're not watching, so it's okay. But the idea that I don't have to have all the great ideas, right? What I need to do is I need to do a really good ideas that are executed to perfection, right? So here, the platform is to grow. But then we need to start at the door, realize other people are really good at this stuff too. Let's plug them in. Let's plug in an SSO from buy side, but we're actually having discussions with them about how can we take some of their interesting data and plug it into the market reports, into the neighborhood reports. How can we create additional calls to action that would generate a little bit more activity on different display points on the website, right? And so, when you've got 2 or 3 or 20 companies willing to do that, exponentially your system just can get out of control in a great way.
Yeah, it can. And you know what? That attitude right there that you have, okay, is really, I'm going to be real blunt, why we're working together today and why it's so exciting for the future. I'm just,
so those big bills are worth it then.
Yeah. You had to bring that up, okay? Just putting the arrow right in the heart there, Ken. Thank you for that.
It'd be worth it.
Okay?
Did.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Hey, you know what? What's the old saying? You know what? For something that is good, there's some pain and you can't you got to spend money to make money. There it is. And we're doing it. We're doing it
with that one.
I love it. Well, I look forward to continue to grow together. We're live in all of our markets now. I know there's going to be continual learning. No worries. Classes and workshops and trainings will continue onward, ultimately forever. So no worries there. And I really look forward to working with you long term. And I so appreciate you taking the time today to talk to everybody and share your thoughts.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I really enjoy your community, really enjoy this group. And it's been fantastic. So, and we're just getting started.
I know we are. All right. Well, killer. I love it. Thanks again, Ken. Hey, if everyone can do me a favor, like what you heard today. So please like today's session. And if you see anyone or know anyone that could benefit from it, please share it. The more we can get this out to the universe is a win in all kinds of ways. I appreciate everyone's time. Again, we will be here next Tuesday at 1:30 Pacific Standard Time. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.